Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to make yourself a cup of coffee with snacks if you want, because today we have very interesting stories, and one of them is a story about a woman who turned crazy mode on when OP nearly hit her with his bike. Please subscribe if you haven't and I hope you'll enjoy it. This happened when I was a baby. I actually wasn't aware of this until my brother mentioned it, and boy, did my mom have a story to explain. When I was apparently a few months old, my grandmother on my mom's side, before she passed away from cancer, had taken myself, my brother, 7, and older half-sister, 9, to a park while my parents were at work. My grandma had put me in a baby swing, keeping an almost constant eye on me because I was born a preemie, and thus even a few months old, still a little fragile and needed a bit more attention. From what my mom had to explain, my older siblings had gotten into another fight, one had pushed the other, and it led to a brawl, and grandma went to stop them, because last time they had really gotten into it, one got a bloodied nose, and the other had a sprained wrist. I cannot remember who got what, but I know that they do love each other. So for one freaking minute I was left, unattended as grandma went to keep my siblings from hurting each other, when apparently this stupid lady, who already had a kid, 2-year-old girl, decided that I was abandoned. Oh freaking god. So what happened was this: entitled concerned mother saw me left in swing, not noticing grandma breaking up the fight, and literally walks over, picks me up, and just walks away. The 2-year-old strapped in a sling thing on her back, I don't remember what they're called, by the way, and apparently sleeping, from what I was told. Remember, this is from word of mouth. I was 3 months old when this happened. Of course, a minute later, grandma turns around, sees me gone, and flips out. She started screaming that her grandbaby had been kidnapped. Thankfully, an officer was there and quickly took stock of the situation. A small search went out, but they didn't have to look far. Even 3 months, I was apparently very vocal about things I didn't like. And that included being changed into non-soft clothes. Have been very sensitive about certain fabrics, even at a young age. I would scream if I wasn't put in something soft. So, it didn't take long for the officer to find me. Apparently, I had only been taken about 100 yards away to a bench, where the entitled mother tried to change me and throw out my old clothes. Long story short, she tried to claim that I was her baby, and that I was merely fussy. Problem: I look nothing like her, difference in ancestry, and the fact that I was wearing a special bracelet that has my name on it. So, she got arrested, her daughter returned to her father, turned out father had a restraining order, and the entitled mother had kidnapped her, and my grandma charged the lady, which was how they met the father of the 2-year-old, and the trial was where they learned of the entitled mother's reasonings. To say the least, we won, I was safely returned to my family, and I have no clue what happened to the lady who tried to take me as her baby because I was abandoned. And honestly, I wish I knew more, but my mom wouldn't say more, which kind of scares me, but since I can get paranoid, maybe it's for the best I'm safe, and that's what matters. Edit. Just want to emphasize, I do not have the full story. Mom omitted some bits and I know that there was something she's not telling me, so again, I don't have the full story. And mom put emphasis on the fact I was in a swing, she said baby swing, even though I was 3 months. So, I don't know if it was a special swing or something, but that's what I was told. That's not an entitled mother. That's a very troubled criminal. These baby theft stories always scare me. They are done by women not mentally right in the head. I, 28F, have always lived with my mom. Currently, I'm a student at a university and I'm working towards a master's degree. Many people might think high time to go out and live your own life. But my mom doesn't see things that way. When I was a teenager, my mom would threaten to throw me out if I was disobedient. When I became an adult, I openly talked about wanting to move out and get job, but she is strongly against the idea. We live in a foreign country where she still hasn't learned the language after 15 years. I'm basically her live-in personal assistant. I do house chores including repairs and shopping, and I handle phone calls, take dictation and act as her translator and interpreter. All of that still isn't enough. She's upset when I don't also organize vacations for her, but gets angry at me when I do, and the vacation isn't to her liking. She has no other relatives, no friends. And she has a chronic illness that acts up from time to time and gives her pain. I've always tried my most to support her and do things together to make her feel less lonely. I genuinely feel sorry for her. But I can't live my life out as a personal assistant. I'm a social person, I like to be around people, and I especially like to be with my boyfriend. But she gets extremely upset over any deviation from our daily routine, no matter how minor. If I befriend a new person, she belittles that person behind their back and tries to persuade me to sever ties with them. When I was a kid, I used to do that and lose lots of good friends that way, which she later on would use as evidence that I have no people skills and my friends were traitors. As an adult, I'm not so quick to defriend somebody just because she doesn't like them, and to this day she still insults my best friends behind their backs and mocks me when I'm on voice calls with my friends, gaming together. It gets even worse when I try to date somebody. She doesn't care if I am in a relationship, but she doesn't want me to meet up with or visit my boyfriend unless she is present. And if I insinuate that I'll go to him anyway, she threatens to stop paying my allowance. It's for my own good, she says, because she can't trust him yet and probably never will, and it's her money, so her rules. There's an added layer of irony here, because since I was a teenager, she's talked about how she dreamed of me getting married and starting my own family. Like with my friends, she finds new ways to spin things my BF does into a mean light. He could be a prince in shining armor descended from the heavens, and she'll still find something to complain about him. Today, the pettiness reached a whole new level. I feel guilty and angry at the same time. The incident. I came late for breakfast, so she ate without me and has since been giving me the silent treatment, which is the tactic I hate the most. She's done this quite often, and as a teenager it broke me down a few times, and I wound up sobbing for forgiveness. Even now, it upsets me a lot. Even when I apologized for getting up late, she doesn't respond. Total hardcore ignore. It doesn't help that it's very hard to get to the bottom of why she's upset when she is. Once she lets slip that she's worried I won't take care of her when she's older, and I think it's a sign that she's afraid that one day, her personal assistant will have her own life. And then she'll have nobody, because she had successfully pushed away many people with her meanness. And ironically, the more she clings to me, the more I feel like running far away. Having a heartfelt talk with her never works, because she interrupts and yells and fixates on how I'm an ungrateful, deceitful leech who'll abandon her at the drop of a hat. You should get a job and get out as soon as possible. You need your own life. Otherwise, you'll wake up one day in your 40s or 50s and realize you missed out on your whole life. No marriage, kids or job. So this story comes from a long time ago, when I was just a little kid in elementary school. I had made some friends who lived in my neighborhood, which was fairly sizable, but not too big for a kid to ride a bike to get from one end to the other. I had been to my new friend's house once or twice before, but I was young and still unfamiliar with this part of the neighborhood. We had moved in when I was about 6, so I ended up knocking on the doors of people on the way and asking people, do you know where Lance lives? Also, yes, Lance did grow up to be just as douchy as his name predicted. Anyway, I'm slowly making progress to where my friend actually did live, and on my way down the road I see a car parked on the side of the road in front of a house with people moving things from the car to the house. I go around it in the street since there weren't any cars coming either way, and the entitled grandmother, e.g., makes her debuts. Imagine a really old Karen with a classic haircut, but with curly white hair and a wrinkled up face. As I went around the driver's side of the car, E.G. opens the door and I slam on my brakes. I was only 7 at the time, and my bike wasn't really capable of going very fast, so I came to a stop rather quickly. E.G. sees me stop just before her car door, which if I were going fast, she would have completely destroyed me with that cliched car opening to stop a biker move, and start screaming her head off. What the hell? Who are you? Where are your parents? I'm taken aback by the sudden outburst and couldn't really talk. I just sat on my bike a little wide-eyed. I'm trying to go to my little granddaughter's birthday party, and you almost killed me. I want to talk to your parents right now. Where do you live? I was too young to understand what a Karen was. Parents are about as close to managers as you can get with children. Looking back, she was completely in the wrong here on so many levels, but I was a young and obedient kid who respected adults as if their word was law. I felt like I was a ways from home. I wasn't, but it felt like it, since I had stopped so many times along the way, so I just replied I live a long ways away, and pointed in the general direction of my house. E.G. demands thinks I'm being a smart and raises her hand to slap me as she screams, I need to know where. It's at this exact moment that the homeowners, H01, the dad, H02, the mom, come out and H01 grabs the E.G.'s arm before she can bring it down on me. And the true hold me back. fashion, e.g. starts weirdly squirming and spasming like she's trying to break loose to beat my 7-year-old butt into the ground as I just sat there dumbly staring at the woman. Let go. This little freak tried to run me over. H01 and H02 look at me on my tiny bike and back at EG. I don't think he did that on purpose. It looks like you just didn't look before opening your door. Be thankful it was a kid and not another car. Nonsense. I came all the way to see my granddaughter for her birthday, and this little crap almost kills me. I need to talk to his parents. I'll be suing them so hard this little freak will be legally enslaved to me to pay off the debt, and when I die I can gift him to our granddaughter for her birthday. Mom. That's enough of that. H01 slowly pulls EG into the house as she screams nonsense. Just imagine her screaming Rhea for historical accuracy. I had no idea what to do. Should I leave? Were the cops coming? Was I in trouble? I was so confused and kind of lost, so even if I wanted to leave, it would take me a while to find my way home. H01 came out a few minutes later and saw me still sitting there. H01 walked out and handed me a cupcake and said, "I'm sorry for how my mother-in-law treated you. Take this." My little eyes sparkled a little, and I destroyed that cupcake. I was a little upset afterwards though because I had some crumbs and icing on my hands that ended up getting on my handlebars, but I was overall happy. H01 lived around the corner from my friend, so he gave me directions when I asked him about him. I head over and about 10 minutes later, EG rings my friend's doorbell. My friend's mom, FM, answered the door while I was in the adjacent living room, so I overheard the conversation. It went something like this. "I know your son lives here. My daughter lives around the corner, and your son almost hit me with his bike." EG peers inside and sees me staring at her from a couch. There he is. FM thought EG was pointing at my friend, so she asked when exactly did this happen. 10 minutes ago. My son has been here. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. That's a lie. You're lying. I'm going to sue both of you. I'm coming in. This little crap needs some real discipline. And this conversation is over. FM tried to close the door, but EG put a knife in the door to keep it open, all the while screaming and moving the knife up and down to try to cut FM. As an aside, the knife was probably used to cut the cake at the birthday party because there was icing on it and subsequently the door frame. FM ended up calling for her husband, who wasn't home. "Honey, grab the shotgun. Kill this old witch." The bluff worked, and at that moment I think reality struck EG, and she dropped the knife and ran about as fast as you'd expect an older person to be able to run. FM called the police. She told them what had happened, where we were, and what the EG looked like. I spoke up and told them where I had first seen EG, pointing at the house through a window. It was obvious, too, since only one house was holding a party. About 9 minutes passed before police arrived. I stayed at the house for obvious reasons, but the police started asking me questions and making sure I was okay when I heard a muffled call over the radio. A lot of the police officers ran from my friend's house to the house I had pointed out, and I stared out the window as I saw EG get tackled to the ground from behind. I did some digging, and the police report says she was tossed before being tackled and cuffed because she had attacked an officer who tried to move her to a squad car. Sweet, savory, justice was served. Or maybe that was just H01's cupcake. Either way, it was sweet, and I had an awesome story for my other school friends. I feel the worst for the little girl in all this. Imagine your grandma coming in, grabbing the knife, running out screaming and then returning only to be in a fight with cops. At your birthday party. Past, me, the one and only and neighbor. So I have a cat named Enchilado, and he loves to go outside on the back porch and pool area. He goes outside, hunts for lizards, suns himself, and usually comes back inside. When he wants back inside, he'll meow super loud. Well, I guess our neighbor, that lives directly behind us heard him today, while she was outside in her pool, because when I let Enchilado out again, he goes out like 4 or 5 times a day. She was standing on her back porch facing me with a nasty look on her face. "Hey, how are you today?" "I'm good." "Say, I heard your cat screaming earlier, and I was just wanted to make sure it was okay." "Oh, he's fine. He just meows at us when he wants to go back inside." "Why do you let him out in the first place?" "He's a house cat, yes. They don't go outside. That's how they become feral." "Well, he was feral when we got him. We took him in after a friend of ours found him living under a house. But he likes being outside." That can be considered abandonment. You can't just leave him outside. Look, he doesn't have a collar on him. What if he gets out? Okay, well, he has gotten loose once, but came back promptly at feeding time. So we know he'll come back where his food is. I better not see this cat out again. If I see him or hear him out here, I will be taking him. I mean, you can try. We have cameras around the perimeter of our house, and my fiance's father, who lives in the house next to yours, is a police officer. So, I welcome you to try and break onto our property. Told my fiance what happened, and we couldn't stop laughing. We do have a collar for Enchilado, but he doesn't like it, and it makes him look like he has 5 chins whenever he's laying down or loafing. He is microchipped, though. Also, most of our neighbors know what Enchilado looks like. We've had block parties at our house and our neighbors met the boy, so even if he got out, they'd bring him back to us if they saw him. I'm not worried about EM, personally. According to my fiance's dad, she's just a widowed busybody trying to keep herself busy. The second she heard police officer, she knew she couldn't take your cat. EM need to chill down about your cat who like outside. It is nothing wrong for like outside. Well guys, that's it for today. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story is about a woman who left her child at a retail store to babysit and got upset when she got in trouble. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.